What's up, guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here, and welcome back to my weekly Q&A session where you guys ask the questions and I give you the answers. Before we get started this week, I want to take a moment just to welcome all the new subscribers that joined our community this week. We had quite an influx of new people. I think a lot of those folks joined because they love the Halo Exploration series, and I'm thrilled that you guys seem to be liking that a lot. For those of you who were wondering, yeah, I did get some inspiration from General Kid. As I acknowledged on Twitter, he is such a fantastic YouTuber, has a lot of really cool tricks and stuff on his site. You should definitely check it out. He's actually been a guest on this site before, and he's a really good guy to work with, and I really hope to be able to do more videos with him in the future. I've actually, and through watching his work, it made me want to revisit that concept. It's something that I've actually done for quite some time. I haven't really done it in quite a few years, but I started doing it back when Halo Combat Evolved first came out for Xbox, and I got a hold of my copy. And then when I got the PC version and was introduced to the concept of modding, I went crazy with it. And I created new maps, new weapons, lots of really cool, fun stuff to do in Halo Combat Evolved. It's even to this day, it's such an excellent game. And thanks to General Kid, I now know that people are still interested in that type of thing, which is fantastic. It was what first really drew me into the franchise, just being able to explore and everything. And modding just further added to that concept. So it's something that I have planned more in the future, and hopefully I can work with General Kid some more, because he's just such a great YouTuber and a really good friend as well. Now, for those of you who this is your first Q&A, I have Q&A scheduled every single Friday, and the way it works is if you're looking at the title up top and you want to jump to that, what I usually try to do is put an ad break where that question is asked. The title is always named after the star question of the week, which is usually the final question, so if you want to jump to it, you can, but I highly encourage you to check out the other questions as well. You might learn some really cool stuff there. And if you want to submit a question yourself, it's quite simple. You can ask it in the comments section below. You can hit me up on Twitter, or if you're a patron donor, and I highly recommend you check out my Patreon page, we have a special Discord, and you can ask it in there as well. Now, I can't always get to every question, so if I missed your question, because we had a lot of great ones this week, if I missed your question, please feel free to ask it next week, and I'll try to get to it then. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first question of the week comes from King KJC, and King asks, Q&A, will we see the return of the Flood? Now, he doesn't specify here whether he's talking about Halo 6 or just Halo games in general. My answer to that question, though, is I'm sure we will. The Flood is a very interesting species. It's a very popular species and faction in the Halo community in general, and I think we're going to see something involving the Flood with Halo 6. I don't know exactly what. I don't know if they're going to be enemies or if they're just going to be referenced in some way, but I have a feeling we're going to see them somehow introduced into the lore, especially after we saw them in Awakening the Nightmare. Our next question comes from Junior Zamudio, and Junior asks, Q&A, should Halo 6 bring back split screen and dual wielding like the classic Halo games? Well, as far as I know, they are already bringing back split screen. They said they were going to do that for all future Halo titles after the Halo 5 backlash. As far as dual wielding, I don't know what they're going to do with that in the future. I would personally love to see it back, but from what I understand, at least, I believe it's going to be included with Installation 01, so I am looking forward to that, and I highly recommend you check out that game as well. Our next question comes from Creeder30, and Creeder asks, Q&A Tyrant, do you think Halo 6 should have Forge like it was in Halo 5 where it was more complex, or like in the older games where it was more simple? Should it have both styles? Well, first of all, I was very impressed with Halo 5's Forge mode. It's the most complex and most sophisticated Forge mode we've ever had in a Halo game. But it's too complex for my simple mind, to be honest with you. I mainly use it just to spawn certain weapons and vehicles to see what kind of effect they'll have on other vehicles. And so, and of course, Halo 5 has a massive array of both. What I would like in the future is to have maybe a simple mode for simple-minded folks like me, or at the very least have a tutorial that explains Forge in a little bit more detail. Halo 5 Forge is so wonderful in the sense that we've gotten remakes of a lot of classic Halo maps, and so I'd love to see that included in the next major Halo title. Our next question comes from the Sega Xbox. Ooh, mega console. And the Sega Xbox asks, Q&A, do you think that 343 might make a console port of the new Halo arcade game, Fireteam Raven, or not? My understanding is So they talk about it a little bit in the post. For those of you who aren't familiar with, they are coming out with a new Halo game this summer that's exclusive to Dave & Buster's. It's like an adult Chuck E. Cheese, and Halo Fireteam Raven is going to be an arcade game. They mentioned in a post that they would talk about that more in the future. They didn't really specify what. I think they were sort of alluding to people might being able to buy the arcade itself if you got a lot of money to drop. That could be an option for you sometime down the road, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me to see it come to the Xbox arcade at some point in the future, especially after it's been out for a while. And I think it's lost a lot of its fan base. I think that they're going to... It would not surprise me to see an Xbox port. I could easily see that as being sort of like a side Halo game, but we shall see, my friend. Our next question comes from Maximum Ragequit, and Maximum asks, do you think the Halo 6 trailer will use the classic art style, causing everyone to get excited, only for it to downgrade to the Halo 5 art style and advanced mobility when the game's released? Positive thinking, aren't we? Well, no, I don't think they're going to do that. I think after the backlash from Hunt the Truth, aka hashtag Hunt the Lies, they're going to try to stick more to the script this time. That's my prediction there. I don't know for sure what they have planned, but I would think they would try to stick closer to what the game is actually going to be, but that's just my opinion. Our next question comes from Paneet Kumar, and Paneet Kumar asks, Q&A, Tyrant, do you think every multiplayer mode should get its own ranked playlist? For example, if I want to play CTF in Halo 5, I have to wait 3 or 4 matches in the Team Arena playlist. Well, I tell you, it sounds like a good idea on paper, right? Like you, I'm a big fan of Capture the Flag. In fact, this past week for our community game night, we had a really great game of Capture the Flag on a classic Halo Combat Evolved map. We were in the Halo Anniversary playlist, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm a huge fan of Capture the Flag. We had such a great time. I will say that while that sounds good on paper, the reason behind the fact that they don't do that now, I can sort of understand. I think the main reason there is they don't want to split up the multiplayer base too much, because if they do that, then it could just take you a lot longer to find your matches. Now, what I think they could do in the future, they may already do this, and I just maybe haven't seen the option yet, is you know how they give you options of what to look for in your searches, like balanced or fast or whatnot. I think that if they added the option to hunt for a certain game type, that would certainly solve a lot of that issue. But like you, I'm a huge fan of Capture the Flag, and I'd like to be able to play more of that instead of other objective game types. So you never know. I think that could be a viable option in the future. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you think would be a great option for the future in terms of these specialized game types in multiplayer. Our next question comes from Slender Gaming, and Slender Gaming asks, Q&A, with my first book nearly finished, what do you believe my chances are of getting it published by 343? Well, first of all, congratulations, my friend. That's quite an accomplishment. I myself have been a writer for about 25 years, and when you finish your first book, it feels absolutely great. In terms of you getting it published by 343 Industries, I would certainly recommend contacting their community management team. But before you do that, I'm saying this as a writer myself, you're probably going to want to get it copyrighted first. Not that I think Microsoft or 343 would, steal your idea, but because I don't think they would do that to somebody, but it certainly is in your best interest to make sure that your idea stays your idea. Obviously, it would be a little bit tricky if it's a Halo-based book, but I think I don't know what the pecking order there would be, but I would certainly reach out to their community. I wouldn't necessarily give them a manuscript, but I would ask them what's the best route to go. And I certainly wish you the best of luck in that category, my friend. I certainly hope to see it in stores, and if so, I will definitely pick up a copy. Our next question comes from Winters, and Winters asks, my question for the next Q&A is, if there was a chance between a crossover between the Halo universe and another game or cinematic universe, what would you choose? Me personally would choose the Halo and MCU. Seeing Blue Team go up against the Black Order and Thanos would be sick. Well, I agree with you. That would be interesting. Funny thing is, Halo has been introduced into other games before. It's not canon stuff, mind you, but I think you can play a Spartan in Dead or Alive. I think there's another game out there where you can actually play the different versions of the Arbiter, which I think is awesome. In terms of what universe, it'd be interesting seeing Master Chief go up against Iron Man and his new magical nanotech suit. Although I think, as much as I love the Master Chief, I think the upgraded Iron Man might, kick some serious butt there. but I think that'd be kind of interesting. I wouldn't want it to be canon, though. That would kind of take the fun out of Halo. But it would be kind of cool to see a game where some of the Halo characters went up against the Marvel Cinematic Universe characters. So yeah, I think that's a really cool idea, maybe for a new video game in the future. Our next question comes from Nebulous Cheetah, and Nebulous Cheetah asks, Q&A, we all talk about a free Halo game and that it'll never happen. Probably never will, but Halo needs players badly. Microsoft is fixing the Master Chief Collection, but I don't feel like it's going to do much to the community with expansion or even bringing back old players. What if they put Master Chief Collection as one of the Xbox Gold free games during the month it releases? Will this be enough to bring in many new and old players? Maybe even the next month they can make Halo 5 and then Halo Wars 2 just to draw in the audience and start to hype up Halo 6 with the possible E3 reveal this summer. That's a mouthful. Okay, so here's what I would say in that category. The terms Microsoft and free typically do not go hand in hand. It's an interesting idea, but I think really if they want to start bringing back old players and expanding their audience, they need to start focusing on the PC aspect of Halo. Now, they've already said that they are going to explore this in the future, and I certainly hope that's the case. I hope we see this sooner rather than later. But making those games free, even though it's an interesting step, that still requires them to have an Xbox. And I feel like if, they already have an Xbox, why now would they make those games free? It's already pretty cheap to get Halo 5, if I remember correctly, and also the Master Chief Collection. So I think if they focus more on the PC element there, they could potentially bring back not only old players, but bring in a new player base as well. In terms of making it free, I mean, you might get some new people, but I don't think it's enough to really energize the franchise as much as bringing it to PC will. But that's still an excellent concept, my friend, and it's always good to see you here. And our final question of the week, our star question, comes from Luke Skywalker II. Well, good to have you here, Mark Hamill. And Luke Skywalker asks, Q&A, if there is going to be a Halo 6 teaser at E3, then do you think it will show the state of the galaxy under Cortana's rule, to give it depth, and to have Chief be front and center of it? So I'm going to answer this in two parts. To answer your question directly, I think Chief is going to be front and center. They've already said in the past that the next major Halo title is going to be Master Chief centric. So I think that the trailer is going to reflect that as well, especially if they don't want to mislead their base. I think that's going to be a major factor in their trailer. In terms of the galaxy, I think that's extremely necessary to show at least a little tease as to what's going on there. At this point, Cortana has control of the Halo rings, the Prometheans, the Guardians. She's trying to recruit the Covenant. All she really has to do at this point is capture the Master Chief, and she has the equivalent of the Infinity Stones. Basically, once she captures the Chief, she has the ability to snap her fingers. So it would certainly be interesting to see just what state the universe is in. We saw a lot of chaos at the end of Halo 5. We saw the Guardians EMPing colonies. It's going to be interesting how they can fight a mechanical enemy without the war machines themselves. So it'll be I'm really looking forward to seeing how that story wraps up. So I hope we get at least a tease as to what things are like there. To go a little bit further, though, I think one of the big questions that we have is Halo going to be at E3 this year? And more specifically, is it going to be Halo 6? And we've seen a lot on this, and it's gone a little bit back and forth. There have been some tweets, and I'm not going to say by who, because for those of you who've been here for a while, you know that I do know some of those folks over there at 343 Industries personally, and I'm not here to call out names. I'm not here to name drop anybody, and so I don't want to say who did these tweets and posts, but I will say that there have been subtle hints that Halo 6 may not be at E3 this year. They didn't flat out say it. And there is another video out there, and this is true, I completely forgot who posted this video, but there's another video out there where another popular Halo YouTuber, again, name slips my mind, but did post a video regarding this subject and actually showcases the tweets from the 343 personnel. And so they can be taken either way. Essentially, it sounds like a type of deal where it's don't get your hopes up. However, last year they were pretty on point when they said Halo 6 was not going to be at E3. I mean, we were all still skeptical of that. We all thought, maybe they're just leading us on. But a lot of us thought that it was just going to be Awakening the Nightmare, and that was it. I was hoping it was going to be Halo 6, but they haven't directly said what they're showcasing there. So it's certainly possible that Halo 6 could be on the list. We're already at a point where we're almost 3 years in with Halo 5. And that's a long time for a Halo franchise. And even if you're someone who counts Halo Wars 2 as the latest Halo game rather than it just being like a side title or a spin-off title, even then, we're about in the same cycle that after a new game was released, a new one is announced. So we're about a year and a half after Awakening of the Nightmare first came out. And so I think this would be a very good time for them to announce, even if it's just a little teaser trailer, a little CGI trailer or something like that, just to ensure us that the next major Halo title is indeed in production and it has a title. So my hope is that we'll see something about Halo 6, but there are other possibilities as well. They could just simply be talking about the updates to the Master Chief Collection. Maybe they'll give us a surprise reveal where it's going to be for PC or something like that. How cool would that be? It could be something regarding Fireteam Raven, because we just talked about that. We've gotten some little details about it, but it'd be kind of cool to see something along those lines too. I don't think that would fit well in an Xbox convention because it's not an Xbox title. It's not coming out for Xbox, at least not yet. So I don't know if they would make that their showcasing event or not, but you never know. They could be doing another spin-off Halo game. Could be Halo Spartan Assault 3. They could call it Halo Spartan Attack and have a red cover instead of a blue one or a green one. You never know, right? I'd actually be open for a new one of those down the road. I enjoyed Spartan Assault. Spartan Strike, not quite so much, but you never know. They could really nail it the third time around. Or also, they could be introducing a new, I was going to say Awakening the Nightmare, Halo Wars 2. God, I'm so bad at this. Halo Wars 2 expansion, and that's I'm not really focused on that. I don't think that's going to be the case simply because the last expansion came out over a year ago, or about a year ago. It was what, last September? Okay, so it was announced a year ago when it came out last fall, and I think if they announced one, it probably wouldn't come out until later this year, which is a long time between expansions, considering that they released two in relatively close proximity of each other. I think Awakening the Nightmare is going to be the last chapter of Halo Wars 2. But it's entirely possible that they're going to wrap up the entire game with another expansion. Or, as they sort of hinted at in a post from last year, it could be very much be tied into Halo 6. And we sort of get that from the ending of Halo Wars 2 with the whole Guardian aspect and Anders encountering this Guardian while the Halo ring is in slipspace or pulled out of slipspace. So I think all those are options. It could be something completely new. It could be the Halo TV series for all we know. So the options are certainly out there, but personally, I'm really hoping for Halo 6, and you know what? In about 48 hours, the whole world's going to know the answer to this question, so it'll be really cool. And I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, everybody, in the comment section below. What do you hope is showcased at E3 this year in terms of Halo? Are you hoping for Halo 6? Are you hoping for something else entirely? Are you hoping for Halo 6 gameplay, or would a simple trailer do it for you? Or are you hoping for something else Halo related? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, or please feel free to hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. And I want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for sitting down and taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more great content right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I'll catch you all right back here next time. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.